Hey, welcome back to day 2. I'm so excited that you're still here and that you're anxious to learn more about yourself. So, as a little recap, yesterday we talked about the first 2 elements, which were wood and fire. And then today we're going to move into the final 3, which is earth, metal, and we'll end with the water element. So I'll bring up the same QR code as yesterday in case you didn't have a chance to get that or you're new today. The 5 elements quiz, you can scan that QR code and save it to take the test at a later date. It's also always available on my website at energeticallyu.com. And then we'll talk about those little magical stickers again today, as well as the things we can do to help strengthen the earth, metal, and water element. So here is that QR code. I'll leave it up for a second in case you need to grab that. A lot of time and effort went into making this quiz possible. It's pretty fascinating, the things that you'll get in an email after you take it. So today we're going to talk about, again, earth, metal, and water. And the 2 organs that govern the earth element are the spleen and the spleen and the stomach. And then the metal element, it's the lung and the large intestine, and water governs the kidney and the bladder. And like I said yesterday, each organ, there's a yin and a yang energy. For the earth element, the spleen is your yin energy, and the stomach is your yang energy. For the metal, the lung element is your yin, and the large intestine is the yang energy. And then for water, the kidney is your yin energy, and the bladder is the yang energy. And I also mentioned this yesterday, but as we age, men tend to lose more yang energy, whereas women tend to lose more yin. What's really fascinating is all of our major organs are actually yin organs. And I kind of think possibly why this affects women more than men as we also go through menopause and we have lots of hormonal changes as we age. And I do think it's interesting that we we tend to have more issues as we age. So it's kind of cool when you start to make those correlations. So this slide we talked about yesterday, and I 100% believe that if we are not addressing our emotional health, it definitely shows up in different aspects. So today, when we're talking about the earth element, worry shows up in your spleen. So again, that's like having a stomach ache kind of on the left side of your body under your ribs. That's where your spleen, also known as your pancreas, resides. Grief shows up in your lungs. And then fear shows up in your kidneys. And here is this little image. When everything is healthy and everything is in balance, we just kind of roll through these 5 elements and all is good. But most of us, just with life and the things we're exposed to, whether it's what we're breathing in, what we're eating, when I say consuming, I mean consuming in all aspects of life. The lotion you're putting on your body, the people you're talking to, all the things that come into our body over time, if we have an imbalance somewhere, can start to cause issues. So, like I said yesterday, we started with wood. Wood feeds fire, fire feeds earth, which is where we're starting today. And then earth feeds metal, and metal feeds water. And then each of these also controls another element. So your earth element controls your water element, metal controls wood, and then water controls fire. And right now that might not make a lot of sense, but as you discover what you are and where your home base is, then you can come back and look at these slides and kind of start to connect the dots. Like I said yesterday, my home base is metal. I am governed by the metal element, and then metal controls wood. And I shared my little personal story about having some liver imbalances in my own body and how that showed up over the years, which was actually in my eyes. So it's kind of cool when you can start to connect those dots and then take steps to help heal yourself. And that's kind of what this whole journey is about. I'm a true believer, and you have to be an advocate for yourself. And you got to do the things. If you're not liking what you're hearing at your current doctor or physician, it's time to look elsewhere and go somewhere else and try different things to help you feel better. So we're going to jump right into our third element, which is the earth element. So if you have an imbalance in your earth element, some of the emotional symptoms that you could experience are confusion. Uh, you're a person who craves sympathy. You feel ungrounded. Maybe you're insecure or you have obsessive thoughts. You can be overprotective, having restless sleep, selfish behavior, worry, poor memory, scattered feelings. These are all signs that you have an imbalance um, in your spleen and your stomach. So, some of the easiest things you can do to help yourself are making some swaps in what you eat. Uh, Food is truly medicine. And so, to strengthen your earth element, here are some things that you could add to your diet: apples, apricots, any cooked vegetables like beets, leafy greens, or carrots, figs, cooking with garlic, grapes, grapefruit, honey, pineapple, pumpkin. That's a good one this time of year. Raspberries, squash, sweet potatoes. Warm water or tea with meals is one for the earth element, which is interesting, I think. But again, like I said earlier in that slide, earth feeds water. So I think that's kind of cool. So the season that is associated with the earth element is late summer. So even if you're not governed by the earth element, in the late summer, you could benefit from adding those foods to your diet and then working the acupressure points we're going to talk about in a minute, as well as the meridian stretches would all be beneficial to strengthen your earth element when it is the most active, which is in late summer. The emotion that is associated with this is worry. And then the time of day is 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And a beneficial healing tone for you is making the noise who, who. That vibration is really good for the earth element. Here is the meridian clock. And for your earth element, it's actually 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. So for the stomach, that is between 7 and 9 in the morning. And then between 9 and 11, you have an issue with your spleen. So that's just something to take note of if that's a time of day where you kind of feel a little uneasy or not like yourself. It's a good sign you have an imbalance in your earth element. And the acupressure points that would be very beneficial for you are spleen 6. And again, this is one you do not want to use if you are pregnant, as it will, prior to 37 weeks, as it will induce labor. But spleen 6 is located just above your ankle, about 3 inches or 3 finger widths, like this, on the inside of your ankle, so on the big toe side. And this is a spot that is tender in a lot of people. So this is a really good one to work. This one also helps with poor appetite, abdominal pain, if you have any like stomach distension, loose stool, or fatigue. It's a really great point. The other one on the screen is stomach 8, and this one is located basically right below your hairline, in line with your pupils. So it's on both sides of your forehead. So this one is good in addition to your earth element, helping with dizziness, eye disorders, spasms, facial paralysis, and headaches. And when I say stimulate these points, you can use your fingers. You can order a little tool like this, off Amazon. It's called an acupressure pen, and you can use it to apply pressure on a point. And you're talking like 30 seconds or 30 to 60 seconds. And you could do this once a day. You could do it twice a day, in the morning and at night. The most important thing is that you're doing it. So you have to find a time where you can fit it in your routine. 2 more acupressure points for the earth element are stomach 46. And this one is located right where your ankle and your foot come together, in the crease. In between, there'll be 2 little tendons right there. This one is actually tender in a lot of people also. This one is also good for headaches, swelling, dizziness, mouth pain, and constipation. And then this acupressure point is called spleen 9, and it is located on the inside of the leg in the depression just below the knee. And that's another one that is tight in a lot of people. This one is good for abdominal pain, bloating, diarrhea, any kind of body swelling, pain in your lower limbs, or lower back pain. And then we actually have a fifth one for the earth element, and this is stomach 36. This one is located on the outside, so on your pinky toe side of your leg, about 4 inches or 4 finger widths below your kneecap on the outside edge. This one actually is also called the 3-leg mile. So this is a place that is supposed to also, especially if you're like a runner or even a walker, stimulating this place is supposed to give you the additional adrenaline to walk or run 3 more miles. So this one strengthens your entire body, fights fatigue, wakes up your body and mind. It helps with nausea and hiccups. Then the meridian stretches for the earth element. This is called a kneeling recline pose. And obviously, do not do this if you have knee issues. But as you can see, you're you're extending your body. Your elbows are on the floor. You're trying to grab your feet, and this is giving you a stretch from your knee all the way up the front side of your body into your neck. And doing this one and holding it for 30 to 60 seconds as well is really good for you if you can get in this position. This one is called a knee raise pose. So you're on both knees, your toes are curled under, and literally you're going to shift your weight to one hip and lift the opposite knee off the ground. And this is a pose you would want to do on both sides. So you would want to raise your right knee and then your left knee. And then this one is called the knee tuck pose. So you're starting laying on your back, pulling your knees into your chest with your arms around them. And then you're going to curl in and pull your knees, like your nose is trying to kiss your knees, if you will. This is a really good stretch for the whole back side of your body, which your bladder meridian lines run down your entire back. So like I said yesterday about the liver and the gallbladder running the length of your body, the bladder line does as well as the kidney line, but the kidney is more on the front, bladder's on the back. And now we're going to go into the metal element, which is my home base. Some of the emotional symptoms, if you're out of balance, are boredom, grief, inability to let go. That was a big one for me prior to working on it. Lack of inspiration, melancholy, sadness, or being timid. And I definitely can be shy at times. So kind of cool. Foods to add to strengthen your metal element are peaches, walnuts, tangerines, cooking with basil, carrots, capers, celery, cooking with cinnamon, cooked apples, cooked pears, cooking with garlic, grapes, oatmeal. There's a long list of foods here. So the season that your metal element is most active is in the fall. The emotion associated with the metal element is grief. The time of day is from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. And then the healing tone is just and when we're looking at the Chinese meridian clock for the metal element, if you're waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., it's your lungs. It's where you're having an issue. And this morning I actually woke up about 3:30. And from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., it's your large intestine. So it's really fascinating when like you start to learn this and then you're like, oh, that little quiz I took was right. Like this is me. Like these things are happening in my life. And even now, it doesn't happen for me near as much as it did several years ago before I knew anything about this or was taking any steps to help strengthen my 5 elements. So the acupressure points that are great for the metal element are lung 7, which is located on the thumb side of your hand. It's about 1.5 inches from the base of your thumb. This is also good if you have fever, chills, shivering, a cough, headache or migraines, toothache, or mouth pain. And then this one is large intestine 20. And basically, it's located on your face right below your nose. Like if you started to smile, you'd feel a little groove right here. That place is tender in a lot of people. Um, this is also good for nasal congestion, loss of sense or smell, sneezing, nosebleeds, and facial swelling. Lung 9 is located on the thumb side. It is basically where your wrist and your hand come together. This one is also good for cough, tightness in your chest, shortness of breath, asthma, digestive problems, strengthening your lungs and your immune system. And side note, like I had asthma as a child. So it's so funny. You're like, oh, I've been a metal element like my entire life. Um, this last one is large intestine 4. This is one you would not want to use during pregnancy prior to 37 weeks, as it would bring on contractions. This one is located in like the medius part of your hand between your thumb and your pointer finger. This is a very powerful point. It's good for lots of things. It's actually called the master pain elimination point in your body. So, and it's really easy to touch, and you could do it on both hands. But this one is also good for the common cold, sweating, fever, headaches, painful eyes, nasal congestion. This is a very popular point because it's easy to get to, and it has so many positive things that it can do for you. Let's see. So the meridian stretch for our liver, I'm sorry, well, it is your liver, but the meridian stretch for your metal element is called the forward peacock pose. And this one is you're interlocking your fingers behind you and you're bending over and trying to push your hands as far forward as you can. This is a really good stretch. You should feel it down your entire arms and down your back. Then this one is called the flying wing twist pose. And you're starting with your feet together and you're facing forward. And then you're going to take a step back. So you'd step back like with your right foot. And as you twist, you're looking in that direction. So, and you would do this one again on both sides. So you're twisting in both directions. So really good stretch to move energy down the meridians for your metal element, which is your lung and large intestine. And then this final meridian pose is called strike the bow. And you can see you're starting with your hands crossed and both feet in front. And then you would take again one step back, like with your right leg, and your right arm would go back. So this again is like twisting, and you're feeling it through your arms as well as your legs. And you would alternate and do both sides. And again, these are things that you can easily do first thing in the morning to help move energy and get things unstuck, or before you go to bed at night. It's really just most important that you're doing it. So you have to find the time that works for you. And our final element in this series is the water element. And your water element governs your kidneys and your bladder. So some of the emotional symptoms, if your water element is out of balance, you could experience depression, fear, feeling overwhelmed, lack of willpower, moaning and groaning. That's a big one. Like sometimes I'll pick kids up, when I'm driving carpool, and it's the kids that you just hear going, ugh, all the time. That is definitely a sign that they have an imbalance in this water element. And more than likely, they're not drinking enough fluid because most children are dehydrated. They don't drink enough. We lose 96 ounces of fluid a day. And so if you're not consuming enough, you just constantly stay in a place of dehydration. So that's pretty interesting. You can also have panic attacks. You could be timid, and then adrenal weakness. That's also could be called adrenal dysregulation, adrenal dysfunction. And again, women, especially my age, perimenopausal, menopausal age, this is a big thing that people experience. And your adrenals actually sit on top of your kidneys. So that's how that's correlated. Um, so some of the foods to add to your diet, if you have an imbalance in your water element, or this is your home base element and you're wanting to strengthen it, you could add blackberries, blueberries, clove, egg yolk, very good. Just having the egg from a yolk, I'm sorry, the yolk of an egg would be good for you. Kidney beans, eating lamb, peas, peanuts, soybeans, sesame seeds, watermelon, all these things would be very beneficial to add to your diet. The season where the water element is the most active is in the winter. So again, even if this is not your home base, adding those foods in the winter season when this element is the most active would be very beneficial. The emotion associated with the water element is fear. And then the time of day is 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. And the healing sound or the vibration that is good for this element is just woo, woo, woo. So sometimes this, okay, here is our meridian clock. And we're going to go back and look at the water element. So if you're having issues between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m., it's your bladder is where you're having the issue. If it's between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m., it's your kidneys. So the acupressure points that would be very good for someone who's working on their water element would be kidney 3. This one is located again on the big toe side of your ankle. It's between your ankle bone and your Achilles tendon. There's a little indention right there, and this one is super tender on a lot of people. So that's where it is. Again, it's located on both your right and your left inner ankle. It also treats lower back pain, ankle and foot pain. It treats abdominal pain, deafness, headaches, poor memory, asthma, all can be improved by working this particular point. Kidney 6 is very close to kidney 3. It's actually, again, on the big toe side of your ankle, and it's right above your ankle bone, about an inch. Sorry, it's an inch below your ankle bone. So very close to kidney 3. This one is good for sore throat, painful red eyes, sleep disturbances, dizziness, painful menstruation, having heavy limbs, which means like your arms or your legs feel real heavy, and then ankle or foot pain. And the heavy limbs, if you've never experienced a lymphatic massage, oh my goodness, those are those are good for you too to help move fluid in your body, especially if you have an issue in your water element, like if you retain fluid, lymphatic massage is incredible. But I had one recently and they did one arm and then they're like, raise your arm. And like you raise it and you're like, okay. And then they're like, raise the other arm. And the difference in how heavy the other arm felt that hadn't had the fluid pushed through it, you really can tell a difference. It's pretty cool. So if you've never had a lymphatic massage, check it out. The next 2 acupressure points we're going to talk about are bladder 60. This one is on the outside, so your pinky toe side of your ankle, and it's in the exact same place as kidney 3, just on the other side of your foot. So it's in between your ankle bone and the Achilles tendon. This one is good also for back pain, pain in your shoulder, your neck, and your head, burning urination, and painful menstruation. So all things that have to do with the bladder and the female endocrine system. Bladder 2 is located basically on the inner edge of your eyebrow. This one is super tender on a lot of people. It's also good for blurry vision, red and painful eyes, headaches around the eyes, nasal congestion, facial paralysis, and then facial tics. And the meridian exercises for your Water element, this is called a forward bend. You're just sitting on the floor, legs straight out in front of you together, flexing your feet, and then you're trying to hinge forward from your waist, keeping your back straight. And you can either place your hands, as I have done, like on my shins. You can grab your ankles, or you can grab your feet if you are that flexible. I can do that, but sometimes it's real painful. So I chose not to for this. The bicycle pedal leg press is the same starting place, and you're flexing your feet, and same arm, same leg. When you flex your foot, you're going to extend your arm over your foot, and then you would alternate back and forth. And that one, you should feel that from the bottom of your foot, up your leg, up your back, and down your entire arm. And like I said earlier, your bladder line runs like bladder 60 was on the outside edge of your ankle and runs all the way. Bladder 2 is here. So this one has a meridian line through your entire body. Lots of energy points. And the final meridian pose is called Embrace the Sun. So you're sitting, you're going to fold in one leg. So the bottom of your foot is against like your knee and your inner thigh. And in the beginning, you're sitting squared up. Your arms are in front of you, and then you're going to twist over your straight leg and lean forward. And you would alternate and do both sides on this one as well. And then we are back to those little magical stickers that we talked about yesterday, these LifeWave patches. I'm all about sharing things that are holistic in nature, but definitely have science behind them and are proven to be effective. And that is exactly what these do. So there's lots of different ones. They do different things, but they also have patches that are specialized per the 5 elements. And today we talked about earth. So this little QR code here, you can scan it and it would take you directly to a link where you could buy the SP6 patch, which actually stands for spleen 6, which is one of the elements in the earth section. It's a really good one. SP6 helps with, water retention. It can help you with hunger, losing weight, and then obviously strengthening your earth element in general, which is your spleen and your stomach. The second element we talked about today was metal, and the LifeWave patches for it are Ice Wave, which that's the natural version of like taking an Advil. It helps decrease the pain in your body. And a lot of people their home base is metal, they tend to have tight muscles and just, you kind of feel fatigued a lot if metal is your home base. That's just kind of how your body is wired. So these Ice Wave patches, more natural way of helping inflammation in your body. And then the last one today was water, and the patch for that is the X39, which this patch is known to reset over 4,000 genes in our body. So this one is beneficial to anybody, but it's also helpful in people that are working to balance their water element. And that concludes all 5 of our elements. I hope that you have learned something today about yourself that you didn't know before we started. Ways that you can stay in touch with me. I am on Instagram as energeticallyu_Jaleesa. You can scan that QR code here. I am also on Facebook as Energetically You. And then you can always find us on our website, which is energeticallyu.com. There's the chakra quiz is always up, as well as the 5 element quiz. They are always on my website. And if you are not already signed up to receive a newsletter, you can do that on our website as well. Or you can also scan this QR code to book a call directly with me if there's something that is urgent and you want to discuss further after what we have talked about today. You have the ability to do that right here as well. Again, I'm so excited that you were here and you were open to even exploring a different way of looking at yourself and your body and how you're wired and what makes you you, and learning a little something to help you feel better. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I love this little quote, where focus goes, energy flows, because it is 100% true. Thank you so much. Bye.